Hello, everyone. My name is Terry Kennedy, and I am truly honored to be reading for North Carolina 10 for 10. I'm a Greensboro-based poet, but I spend my summers at my parents' house in Warrensville, North Carolina. It's a place that's very dear to me, and the place where I wrote all of my latest book, What the Light Leaves Hidden. What the Light Leaves Hidden is a book-length poem that explores love, loss, grief through the lens of the landscape of Ashe County, North Carolina. I'm going to read today 7 little short sections from across the book just to give you a little idea of the narrative arc. Do not judge me if I expect the world to weep when I myself feel like weeping. If, feeling the house too quiet, I need to bury my face in the bedroom pillows and scream aloud until eventually that thrum in my head creates an opening, creates a space for me to see once again what always must happen. The slow separation that, despite our instincts and preparation, always appears uninvited. It's like that time we were caught in a storm downriver. The day bright, the current easy. Far over the mountain, the dark clouds that, presumably, would never reach us, at least not in the foreseeable future. Then thunder, then rain. The two of us swimming, if not furiously, at least steadily against the current. One of us tired and, slowly, almost imperceptibly, falling behind. It matters, the difference between noticing a muskrat, its barely visible wake, versus the quick ripple of the water snake on the otherwise flat surface of the river's horizon. In other words, it could not be ignored, the difference, nor could its implications. I was frightened, as should be expected. Without fear, what is love? Without love, for that matter, what do we notice? The smallest things, those we live on, inside of, are always, without fail, awaiting rediscovery. They are like small children lost in a game of hide and seek, which is to say, with the desire to be found, and, therefore, not hiding at all. Not really. A way to practice loss, you called it. Then I agreed. But now I see differently. See transformation, or the idea of it. How an exercise becomes habit, becomes eventually such an integral part of something larger, it ceases to be itself. The way memory, over time, becomes more real than the experience recollected. That day on the river, I wish you hadn't looked at me the way you did, like someone saying, "This is going to hurt. It's too late to avoid it." Overnight, it seems, the butterfly bush an explosion of purple, and none of last night's patriotic display named for it. Plus a lone hummingbird moth. Not bird at all, but reminder, as in, why shouldn't one beauty offer itself to another? Why not, if offered, take? Why not become so close to each other that, in the end, we can do nothing but stand astonished at what eventually must become a separation? Separation being what life mostly is. This must become the question of what love is for, what grief is if it changes nothing of who you are. Still, bright star, shining on, even when I cannot see you. I would be lying if I said I believed you would be here beside me always. More precisely, I ignored the fact that you would not. So short it seems now, your time here. Less spring, more fall. More bloom of the daylily, less tower of the oak. How foggy my memory of you, upstream but circling back, as if with urgent news, as if to remind that eventually we all must tire, wear out. Still, I did not see it. As when to follow the narrow path to the river is, finally, to reveal no other wisdom than the end of the journey, which is, not unexpectedly, the river itself. Or as when the weight of grief is misunderstood as loneliness, as the desire to be wanted only, not as drowning, as drought, not as the first leaf turned red in the otherwise green canopy mid-July, not as abandonment in the absence of your voice, not walking on top of the water, nor sinking beneath. What nightly wakes me is not regret, not exactly. I chose ignorance. As who doesn't when facing but never believing unwanted truth? I looked past what was clearly visible, the dawn-lit rows of trees glowing and, say, in prayer. I took for granted what was meant as gift. You, swimming the span of the shallow but swift river. Your wild breath harmony to the equally wild constant motion. Your eyes sparkling with joy's gift for concealing the years completed, the bodies that, before completion, must fail. What lasts but time? The rains came, then the streams, ultimately the river. It seems counter to call it new, the river I now call yours, despite the knowledge it answers to no one, the water an endless journey, like air, like a breeze, not invisible, not entirely clear either, not exactly, something else, an unspoken, unspeakable truth, but one still this side of heaven. Uneasiness is what I'd call it. Something just this side of concern. Though who can say how best to measure the many degrees of anxiety in these situations? Name the shades of green in the grass after a storm, the red of the leaves patching the mountain in fall. The wisteria twists and climbs until what was there clearly before must now be taken on faith. The hill, its red clay covered in ivy, the now gone to seed wild mint poking through. The creek, its never ceasing lullaby, now faint, now strong, now faint once again. You, the one purple lily in a bank of orange. You, the light that not even your absence diminishes. You, this poem is for you. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and thank you all for supporting North Carolina 10 for 10.